Here's the latest offer from the Lakers. Pelicans will get Lonzo Ball, Brandon Ingram, Kyle Kuzma, and multiple first-round picks. The Pelicans also can offload Solomon Hill to the Lakers. He's owed $13 million on his contract, so some salary cap relief there as well. But the Lakers, so far, no dice from the Pelicans, and the Lakers feeling pessimistic about getting it done. For more, let's bring in Adrian Wojnarowski. So, Adrian, you look at this deal on paper, you get 3 young stars, you get 2 first-round picks, you get some salary relief if you're the Lakers. What's the holdup? What's New Orleans want that the Lakers aren't providing?
Everything, Stan. They want everything if they're going to do a deal with the Lakers before Thursday's trade deadline, because they can wait until the offseason, get Boston involved, get other teams involved, and stretch this process out into the summer. What I'm told New Orleans is waiting to hear from the Lakers is not 2 first-round picks, maybe not 3, as many as 4 first-round picks and second-round picks. That they think they're trading one of the elite players in the league in his prime. It's all a negotiation. It's all a dance, Stan. And there'll be a moment of truth for both teams about how far the Lakers are willing to go, and then the risk for New Orleans to go into the unknown without doing this deal to see what else might be out there for Davis down the road.
All right, so now amid all the talks with the Lakers, Davis and his representation give them a list of other teams. Milwaukee, the Clippers, the Knicks. Boston isn't on Davis's list, but Danny Ainge called Dell Demps to say, hold on, let us get in the mix, and we got a great package for you. How's that scenario playing out?
Well, Boston in the offseason wants to be very involved with Anthony Davis. They can't do the deal as long as Kyrie Irving's on the roster until July 1. But Danny Ainge has told New Orleans, hold tight, stay with us. Boston still has more first-round picks. And for the Celtics, the future of Kyrie Irving with that organization may hinge on getting Anthony Davis in a trade. They may have to have him to secure Kyrie before he goes into free agency. So this is fluid. There's a lot of moving parts, and there's certainly a lot of high-stakes posturing going on in this entire process.
Oh, the buck stops here. It's Bobby Marks, our NBA front office insider. Anthony Davis adding Milwaukee and the LA Clippers to his preferred destinations, along with the Lakers and Knicks. We talked about them last week. The Bucks, I want to talk about them right now. What can they offer that New Orleans might look at?
Well, not much, Neil, and we're going to go look at it right now. And when you look at what Milwaukee has, they've got expiring contracts in Eric Bledsoe, Chris Middleton. Giannis is not going anywhere. And Bledsoe and Middleton, certainly all-stars. And when you look at putting a package together like Anthony Davis and Solomon Hill, we can add Bledsoe, Middleton, even a player like Ersan Ilyasova. On the court, it looks great, and it works. The problem is that Milwaukee does not have a first-round pick to throw in until 2024. And these 2 players are expiring contracts. So the Pelicans really do not get much out of this package.
All right, the Clippers, they got anything better than that?
Not much better, but we're going to go through them right now. And when you look at Los Angeles, similar situation as Milwaukee. Good players, but players on expiring contracts. Tobias Harris, Marcin Gortat, Avery Bradley's got a non-guaranteed for next year. And if we put the 2 same players, Anthony Davis, Solomon Hill, that works. The same problem. Expiring contract, as we said, non-guaranteed. So that doesn't do much for the Pelicans. They also cannot trade a first-round pick until 2021.
All right, so Davis prefers that, but it doesn't sound like the Pelicans will. So we've heard from, now we've got those 2, and we had the Knicks and the Lakers. I'm going to take you off the television. I'm going to put you in the front office. You're running the Pelicans. Are you going to take any of these offers? You're going to wait for something better?
I'm going to wait until July 1st with the Celtics. I know that Boston is not on Davis's preferred list, but if I'm GM Danny Ainge, I am being aggressive with 2 potential lottery picks, Memphis and Sacramento, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, and I'm going to start to push some of my chips to the middle here.
All right, so you think that they could still go for Davis, even though Davis says he's not signing?
I do, and I think the Paul George experiment in Oklahoma City has given the Celtics some hope that once you get that player in your building that you can convince him to stay.
Your starting point in these kinds of talks especially for a player of Anthony Davis' stature, would be, most of your good young players and multiple first-round picks. And the Pelicans haven't got an offer yet, I'm told, that includes more than one first-round pick or salary cap relief, which means an offer to take on, some contracts you might not want. There is a immense gap between what the Pelicans expect to be able to get for Anthony Davis and what the Lakers are offering. They made offers on Paul George in Indiana. They made offers on Kawhi Leonard last year in San Antonio. And so far, the Lakers are following the pattern that they did with George and Leonard. And we know the results of both those negotiations. They didn't get the players in trades. The players went elsewhere. There is pressure to get a deal done from the Lakers side, from Anthony Davis' side, to get this done before Thursday, knowing that if they get into the offseason, the Celtics can come, with a much bigger arsenal of assets, young players, draft picks, to get at Anthony Davis. And listen, it's a negotiation. There's still time until Thursday, but I'm told that New Orleans hasn't seen anything yet that would even cause them to counter. They haven't treated the offer seriously.
So, as Woj mentioned, the Lakers have plenty of young players to offer to the Pelicans, along with all the future first-round draft picks. Tim Legler is coming back later on SportsCenter with more on the potentially changing landscape of the NBA. Hannah, NBA trade deadline Thursday, 3 p.m. Eastern. The move everyone's watching and waiting for is what's going to happen with Anthony Davis. As of right now, he's still in New Orleans, still a Pelican. Made it clear he doesn't want to be. The Lakers seem to be the odds-on destination right now. Magic Johnson trying to do something. He became in charge of basketball operations for the Lakers in February of 2017, February 21st to be exact. And as you can see, he has not been afraid to wheel and deal since taking over. Less than 2 years later, Brandon Ingram and Ivica Zubac are the only players that remain from the roster that Johnson inherited. We're joined now by NBA insider Adrian Wojnarowski. Before we talk about the trade stuff, you've got some player news regarding the Nets.
Yeah, some breaking news. Karis LeVert, who's been out with a right foot injury since mid-November, is returning, I'm told, to 5-on-5 practice this week. And there's optimism with the Nets that they will have him back in the lineup by the All-Star break. And that's for a team that's in 6th place in the East, and we'll get Spencer Dinwiddie back again. LeVert makes the Nets a really dangerous team in the Eastern Conference.
Yeah, he's good, and they're good. Back to the trade talk, less than 75 hours away from the trade deadline. Where do things stand between the Pelicans and the Lakers regarding that potential Anthony Davis trade?
Well, as of this morning, the two sides had not connected back from the conversations they had late last week. The Pelicans, got a few different variations of offers from the Lakers, none of them close to actionable for them.
Underwhelming, I believe.
Underwhelming, yeah, to say the least. But the Lakers have to start getting more serious this week and really start to put most if not all of their top young players, draft picks, and they're going to have to be willing to take back a bad contract too from New Orleans to even get this conversation to a serious level by Thursday's trade deadline.
Okay, we'll keep watching for Davis. What other big names could potentially move before the deadline?
Well, Memphis is still canvassing the league about Mike Conley and Marc Gasol, and both players are available. There's interest in both players in a lot of quarters. The question is going to be, can Memphis get back what they would like? Young players, draft picks for two players in their 30s. Gasol could be a free agent this summer. Conley's got $67 million owed to him over the next 2 years.
The Jump will have a 3-hour trade deadline special starting 1 p.m. Eastern on Thursday. Adrian Wojnarowski is going to be a big part of that. Appreciate you, Woj. Thank you much.
Come on, guys. It's not rocket science. I would love to play with a lot of great players. That's just who I am.
Great look by James Davis for a two-hand jam. James to the basket. James. Alley-oop, and Davis will put it down.
More things to talk about than just the Super Bowl. Woj is here. The NBA trade deadline is this week. It's Thursday, 3 p.m. Anthony Davis is still, at least at this moment in time, a member of the Pelicans. He'd like to be a Laker. The Lakers would like him. Where do those trade talks stand?
Well, the Lakers made an offer last week. They gave New Orleans a few variations of offers, none that really bode the Pelicans over. They're going to talk again this week, and the Lakers know that their offer is going to have to increase. They're going to have to put multiple first-round picks in it. They're probably going to have to take a bad salary or two back from the Pelicans, and they're going to have to, unload if not all of their young players, good young players, into a deal to get the Pelicans to do this by Thursday, because the Pelicans can roll this over into the offseason when they can have presumably Boston involved. And the trade talks in Boston has a bigger war chest of assets to offer New Orleans, so that the Lakers are going to have to, between now and Thursday, get more aggressive with their offers.
I mean, if you're the Lakers, you look at what the Cavaliers are now, right? And what life post-LeBron is if you deal all your young assets, and then you're back in the lottery game. If it's not Anthony Davis, it's some other big names who could move ahead of the deadline. Fill in some of the blanks for us there.
Well, Memphis, they've made Marc Gasol, Mike Conley available, and they've engaged with a number of teams on both players, and I think they would like to have one of them moved by the trade deadline, if not both. Connolly's got 2 years, $67 million left on his contract at 31 years old. That has narrowed the market a little bit, but there's a lot of interest in Connolly, and then Marc Gasol could opt out of his contract, become a free agent this summer, but there's contenders with both teams who are kind of kicking the tires on that one and seeing what it will cost. I think both of those go down to the wire on Thursday.